The president's granddaughter inspires an arresting proposal, the second lady revs up divorce rumors, and we check in on Canada's most famous divorcee as we round up some unconventional love stories making headlines. An off-the-wall proposal down in Florida as a 23-year-old man hops the wall surrounding President Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort and tells his arresting officers he wants to marry Trump's 18-year-old granddaughter Kai. Here's the alleged trespasser in question, Anthony Thomas Reyes of Texas. It's not his first time tangling with the Trumps. According to the Palm Beach Daily News, he was previously issued a warning for trespassing at Mar-a-Lago on New Year's Eve 2024. This time around, Reyes was arrested shortly after midnight on June 3rd. He told Secret Service agents that he jumped over a wall to, quote, spread the gospel to President Trump and marry his granddaughter, who turned 18 in May. President Trump was in D.C. at the time, while it's unknown at the time if Kai, who lives in North Palm Beach, was at the resort or even in the area. It's also unclear what exactly Reyes meant by spread the gospel. The New York Post notes that Mar-a-Lago is under federal protection and was closed to visitors at the time. Reyes ignored multiple no trespassing signs and somehow avoided detection from Secret Service personnel posted at the gates. The Secret Service's security zone around the property went up following the attempt on the president's life at a campaign rally in Pennsylvania.
A lot of people have put my grandpa through hell, and he's still standing.
Reyes is facing a misdemeanor trespassing charge, can't have any contact with any of the Trumps or their properties, and can't possess any weapons or firearms, per a Palm Beach County judge. So who is Kai Trump? She's the president's oldest grandchild, and if she seems familiar, it's because she appeared on the campaign trail back in 2016 and made headlines speaking at the 2024 Republican National Convention on behalf of her grandfather's presidential campaign.
He will fight every single day to make America great again. Thank you very much.
Kai's dad, Donald Trump Jr., introduced her at the RNC and to the wider world, something he might be regretting right about now.
Get away, you little bastards!
Yeah, because you have
Just stay away!
The newly 18-year-old Kai is a high school senior and pro golf hopeful. She even ranked high in a tournament just 15 miles away from Mar-a-Lago the Sunday before her admirer hopped the wall, per the Palm Beach Post. So Kai clearly shares more than just a last name with her grandfather. They also share a passion for golf, which she's been playing since she was just 2 years old. Kai has the skills to back up her passion. In 2023, she had a 275-yard drive, and only 14 LPGA golfers exceeded that. Kai often takes to Instagram to share her accomplishments as an athlete. In March 2024, she shared a carousel of photos and videos of her golf game, led by a photo of her posing with her grandfather.
To me, he's just a normal grandpa. He gives us candy and soda when our parents aren't looking.
These days, she's got a huge social media following, including more than 1 million subscribers on YouTube, where she gives viewers an inside look at being a Trump kid.
All right, we're heading back to the hotel, guys, now to change for the ball.
But now that Kai appears to have a full-blown stalker willing to scale a wall to find her, she might have to lower her profile a little bit until things cool off. Now, from the first family to the second, with the latest on the Vances and those pesky divorce rumors they just can't seem to shake. Lately, JD and Usha Vance can't do much of anything without critics speculating that they're on the outs and headed for a divorce. And now, a recent comment from Usha is being dissected for more clues that they're done for. While we're seeing more and more of the second lady in the spotlight, we don't often hear her speak. But on June 2nd, Usha spoke at the 2025 U.S.-India Strategic Partnership Forum, and one tiny detail she shared about her relationship spoke volumes. Usha covered many topics during the sit-down, which included a rare bit of insight into her marriage and how Usha and JD met at Yale Law School back in 2013.
We were friends for a while before we started actually dating.
Usha then made note of the nature of the pair's dynamic at the time.
JD was sort of the pedal in this relationship, and I was a little bit of the brakes because I was sort of focused on all the schooling part of it.
Of course, Usha also spoke fondly of JD and the couple's relationship. Yet this comment indicated that she's had a long history of keeping him grounded and on track, which may have revealed more than she intended. In JD's memoir-turned-film Hillbilly Elegy, JD wrote that Usha once said to him, "Whenever something bad happens, even a hint of disagreement, you withdraw completely. It's like you have a shell that you hide in." JD also admitted that he has taken his anger out on Usha by yelling at her, comparing himself to a ticking time bomb, writing, "Even at my best, I'm a delayed explosion. I can be diffused, but only with skill and precision. It's not just that I've learned to control myself, but that Usha has learned how to manage me." JD also described Usha as his Yale spirit guide. He also marveled over her intelligence, writing, "She instinctively understood the questions I didn't even know to ask, and she always encouraged me to seek opportunities that I didn't know existed." In fact, according to one former classmate, Usha did a lot of heavy lifting for JD at Yale. The classmate told the Washington Post she unequivocally increased his odds of success. It's been a weird year for the Vances. Here's the family spending time with Indian Prime Minister Minister Modi at his home during their 4-day trip to the country. Yes, it's edited footage from the PM's camp, but it sure looked like JD and Usha were going out of their way to only look after their kids on the trip, with hardly any warmth evident between the spouses. Sure, wrangling 3 young kids on an international trip can really take it out of you, and it's easy to get distracted, but it looked like the Vance kids were being used as an excuse for JD and Usha to keep their distance from one another. The couple didn't even walk next to each other in the clip. Instead, Usha trailed behind her husband, usually carrying one of the 3 kiddos. JD and Usha's apparent iciness at the time could have been the result of the backlash they faced after the vice president met with Pope Francis, the first Latin American pontiff, shortly before he died at age 88. It was, of course, just sheer bad timing that not long after JD met the Pope and shook his hand, the beloved leader of the Catholic Church died. But that didn't stop people online from making a flurry of dark jokes about how JD killed the Pope.
Holy Father, do you have any last wishes? Well, not this, not this.
That kind of media firestorm is definitely going to put a strain on any relationship. Now, from divorce rumors to a done deal, an expert weighs in on the relationship between former Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his ex-wife Sophie, nearly 2 years after they split. Canada's been through a lot of changes in recent months, to put it lightly. You could argue that the bad news started with a heartbreaking turn in August of 2023, when then Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his wife Sophie Grégoire Trudeau confirmed that their marriage of nearly 20 years was over.
They have made the decision to separate after 18 years of marriage.
Sophie, a former TV host, reportedly found it incredibly difficult to walk away from their life together because she was worried about the grave impact that a highly publicized split like theirs would have on their 3 children. When Sophie appeared on CBC's The Current in April 2024, she shared an update on how they were co-parenting their kids, saying, "We are still bound by respect and love, and we have each other's backs and minds and hearts." However, she wasn't afraid to confront the fact that their divorce brought about a difficult adjustment period for all concerned, adding, "Sometimes it gets messy, like you know, in all family life, and it should be, because it kind of makes us appreciate the better times." During a 2024 chat with The Art of, Sophie acknowledged that she and Justin gradually felt more empathy for each other when they started co-parenting, but the hurt from their breakup was very much still there. "We wanted to better understand the Trudeaus' complicated relationship dynamics, so we reached out to Kimberly Miller, founder and chief divorce educator for Partwise, for her expert perspective." Miller pointed out that high-profile divorces like Justin and Sophie's were considerably tougher to tackle than your garden variety split. In addition to dealing with the divorce happening in front of the whole world, the couple also had to commit to protect their children together, regardless of how they may have felt about each other. As she told us, the focus shifts from simply dividing assets and cash flow responsibilities to protecting a child's well-being and sense of stability. Parents must navigate issues like custody arrangements, parenting schedules, communication strategies, and long-term decisions such as education and healthcare. According to Miller, kids can easily recognize when their divorced parents are at odds with each other, making navigating the new dynamic even more emotionally difficult. To avoid further pain and upset, it's important that co-parents like the Trudeaus learn to communicate effectively. The former spouses have apparently tried to make their breakup easier on their 3 children by using a co-parenting method called nesting. Following their shocking split, the Canadian media claimed that their kids would remain under their father's roof while their mother moved into her own new place nearby. When Justin was away, Sophie would come back to his house and be the primary caregiver to their kids. This unconventional decision may have helped maintain some stability for their children, who didn't need to shuttle back and forth between homes. While the divorce announcement came as a shock to many, there were a number of red flags in the Trudeaus' relationship that hinted they'd never last. In November 2022, Sophie appeared on Archetypes, the short-lived podcast hosted by none other than Meghan Markle. Though Sophie didn't directly say that her relationship was in trouble, she did have things to say about the role she and many other women typically feel like they have to play in a family dynamic, including this telling passage.
Women across this planet are still the nucleus of the family. They still carry most of the load for housework, contributing to the family's well-being and most decisions concerning the kids.
It's long been theorized that Justin's political ambitions made for a lopsided dynamic in his marriage, which Sophie seems to suggest may be the case with her in that comment. And Justin himself has said as much. In October 2014, shortly before he became Prime Minister, he told the CBC that he found it hard to maintain a healthy work-life balance. That seems to have been the case for more than 10 years. In March 2025, Sophie made an appearance as a panelist at the South by Southwest Festival. While there, Sophie practically came right out and said that Justin's busy schedule had negatively impacted their marriage. When asked if she was familiar with the concept of a workaholic, Sophie said, "Of course, I married one."